Good morning, YouTube. It's bright and early today for me. Decided to get a game in. This time I'm going to be playing Wasteman. Again, you say again? Yes, it's a good game. But I'm going to do it a little bit differently this time. I'm going to introduce the rules, which is my idea. I'm going to have a look at a big look at the cards, a detailed look at the cards. That was suggested by a friend. Have a look at the board and the miniatures a little bit more detail for your benefit, so you know what's going on and you can look at these really awesome miniatures in detail. Right, let's start with the game itself. Let's start with the turns. So basically at the beginning of each turn each player rolls a dice or a die if you want. The Wasteman game is a D10 game. Look at these really cool, bright, loud yellow dice that you get with the gangs when you buy a gang from Child Miniatures. So anyway, each player rolls a D10. The highest gets the initiative for that turn. He or she will then activate one unit, which can be either just one guy or one figure miniature, or a group of identical miniatures. Right, so after that, then after the first player has done his activation with his unit, then it switches to the next player, and each player takes turns until every unit has been activated, and that is the end of the turn. And at the start of the next turn, surprise, surprise, each player rolls a d10 and does the same thing again. Right, so each unit has a number of actions that they can do in their activation. For example, this guy here, you can see AP, that means action points. He has 3 action points, okay? So, each action you can do a number of different things. Let me tell you what you can do. You can move 5 inches, that's the standard move. I think some units have the special rules for their own movement, but if not otherwise stated, 5 inches is the standard move. Attack, so shoot or punch or whatever. Yeah. Duck and cover, which means like, you know, getting into cover, going down. Going down. Yeah, I've got a brain of a 5-year-old today. Or a special action, which is like not detailed, but it's mentioned on the card if they have a special action that they can do, like special attack, some special move, or something like that. Okay, so there's basically 4 different things: move, attack, duck and cover, special action. Okay, right. So once that unit has done their 3 or 2 actions or 1 action, then that's it. Play moves to the next player, and his or her unit of her choice, his or choice, gets activated. Right, okay. Combat. So let's imagine again this guy. What's his name? Flint Beastwood. I'll be going through this in detail in a minute, but anyway, Flint Beastwood. He has 3 action points. This one is armor. AR is armor, and the next one, P, is power. That's the power of the weapon. And then the last one is range. R is range. So first, for example, this guy's going to shoot. He checks the range. Yeah. So he declares first, I'm going to shoot that guy. Then he checks the range. If it's in range, okay. If it's not, action wasted. Yeah. So he checks if it's in range within 8 inches, and then he looks at the power. It's power 3. The target's armor, for example, the target's armor might be 4. Then I made this. It was necessary. So here we go. Armor 4, power 3, Here we go, it says 8+ on the chart. Basically the attacker, that's me, I need to roll an 8+ on the chart, okay, to see if I hit. Let's imagine I do hit. Then I roll on this chart to see what happens to the target. Yeah, the 4 things that could possibly happen are spooked, crippled, serious injury and fatality, obviously escalating in seriousness. Spooked is the lowest one. That's if you roll a 1 to 4, you get the target gets spooked. That means -1 action in their next activation. Yeah, so you might want to write that down on the card or put a token on it or whatever. What I do is I've got a dry erase marker. I write like S for spooked on the card, so I remember when it's their activation. Oh, look, they're spooked. Yeah. The next level of seriousness up is crippled. Now that means -1 power and 3-inch move for the rest of the game. Yeah. So they move slower and their weapon is less effective, basically. Then serious injury is the next level up. That means the model is unconscious. So what I do is I lay the model on its side until fixed or healed. So if you're lucky enough to have a model with the healer ability, which would be down here if he or she had healer ability, then he could heal or fix the wounded model. If not, if you don't have a model with that thing, it's effectively out the game, except mad cards. I will talk about them in a minute. So these can be played anytime. Right. And then, of course, the next one is fatality, where you just remove your model from the board. He's dead, Jim. Right, okay. So, 1 to 4, 5 to 7, 8, 9 and 10 for the wound chart, basically. So, if you roll a 10, that's it, game over. 8 or 9, put it on its side. 5 to 7, he gets crippled or she gets crippled. 1 to 4, the model is spooked and loses an action. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I did have to make this because I can't look in books. No, not during the game. No. Right. Okay. With packs of miniatures that you get from Thunder Child, you do get these really cool. I mentioned these before, but you get these cool activation counters. So after you, or when you move one of your guys, units or whatever, you spend one of these, and then you know how many you've got left. So you get basically 5 activations, 5 tokens. Yeah, each faction has their own set of tokens. Yeah, there's quite a few of them. I seem to have maybe all of them. What are you gonna do? I have a problem. Right. So let's have a look at let's have a look at the cards and the factions I'm going to be using today. Starting now. Right, the first gang, or the first posse, is led by Flint Beastwood. That's an awesome name, gotta love it. So he has AP3, AR3, so 3 action points, armor 3, power 3 of his weapon, and range 8. So I'll go through his special rules, which I actually wrote down on a post-it on the back of the card because, like I said, I don't like looking in books, and my memory isn't what it should be. I wonder why. Gunslinger, free attack with a move, which is really cool. So he moves his standard 5 inches and then can make a free attack, and then that only uses 1 action. So that's potentially 3 moves and 3 attacks in 1 activation. That's great. Master, which all the boss miniatures get. That's one action to make a thrall. Anything with the thrall rule, like a little robot or something like that, or a dog or something, within 5 inches takes an action. So he can spend his action to make another unit make their action, but that unit has to have the thrall special rule, which none of these guys have today, so we ignore that rule. Quickie, which means he gets 2 attacks per action, so that's really cool. He could either spend an action to make 2 attacks. That's 6 attacks. He could stand in the same place and make 6 attacks because he's got 3 actions. Yeah, or he could move 3 times and shoot 3 times because he gets a free attack with every move. So this guy's, I can see why this guy is the boss. And then he's got strong arm, which means he gets +1 power with melee attacks. Yeah, so if he's shooting, his power is 3. If he's in melee, punching or whatever, his power is 4. Okay, next up is Jessie Jane. So 2 action points. I think that's pretty standard. Armor 2. The power of the weapon is 4, which is quite powerful. Range 20. That's really quite a long way. And her special rule is she gets a free attack with a move. Okay, pretty standard stuff there. Next up, one of my favourite models. I have so many favourite models in this range, but gotta love a guy smoking a joint with a big gun in his hand. Again, I think he's got exactly the same stats as Jessie Jane, and he gets a free attack with move, the same as Jessie Jane. So he's basically the same stats, standard trooper. Next. Right, Crazy Zeus. Again, a great model. He's got a dustbin lid on his head. Standard headwear for post-apocalyptic cursed earth environment. So 2 action points, 2 armor points, power 3 for his weapon, and range 8. His special rules are Trader. That's quite a good one. So he can spend 1 action if he's within 1 inch of another figure, another model, and he rolls a 1d10. If he gets a 1 to 3, he gets a free Mad card. If he gets 4 to 6, he gets Stims, and 7 to 10, he gets Grenades. So all of those are quite good. He's also a medic. Yeah, I said healer before. The rule is actually called medic. He spends 1 action next to a figure or within 1 inch of another model to remove the spooked or crippled or serious injury. Like I said, you can remove the serious injury from another model. So that's pretty cool if he stays out of harm's way. And this guy gets Quickie, which means 2 attacks per action. So essentially, he's got 2 actions, so he could do 4 attacks. Yeah, if he doesn't move or anything like that. There you go, Crazy Zeus. Awesome. Next, last and not least in this posse is Handy J, the mechanic, by the looks of things. 2 action points, 2 armor points, power 5 with his weapon. That's really, really powerful. And range 10, not so far. It's only a hand weapon after all. Right, let's see what he's got. Gunslinger, which means a free attack with every move. So he can move and attack. So he can move twice and attack twice because he's got 2 actions. He's also got something called Junk Mine, which is actually quite an interesting one. Once per game, that's how powerful it is. Once per game, he can spend an action to drop a token bloop, within 1 inch of himself to set a fuse. When he sets the fuse, he has to decide how many actions that fuse will last for. Yeah, so it's burning down, and you declare this fuse is 5 actions. So it's 5 actions later, boom! Any model within 10 inches roll on the injury chart. Not the injury chart, the to hit chart, sorry, this one at the top. Power 3 versus the model's armor. Then if it's successful, it's a +2 on this chart. So if it does hit, then it's going to be quite deadly. Imagine like a nail bomb or something like that. Junk mine, yeah. Or an IED or something like that. Right. That was it for that gang. No, it wasn't. Each gang has 5 mad cards. I'm going to do those. Right, first mad card for this gang is Painkiller. Select a single friendly figure and remove the effects of spooked, crippled, serious injury, and or rad. So rad is radiation. Right, excellent. Next, Moo Juice. Select a single friendly figure and remove the effects of crippled. This figure may now ignore any injury results of crippled for the remainder of the game. That's pretty cool. Next, Strange Meat. Select a single friendly figure or combat unit and remove the effects of spooked or crippled. Again, pretty similar these ones today. Next, Born Lucky. You may re-roll a single dice or force the other player to re-roll a dice or die. The second result must be applied, so you ignore the first result. Interesting stuff. Next, select, that's irregular Joes. Select a single figure, friend or foe. They receive +1 AP this activation. Yeah, that's +1 action points. Not sure why you'd choose a foe, but that might become clear as we play. Right, next up is the Bandit Gang. Right, another awesome model. This one is Olga the Cruel. She's the boss of the bandits today. Her special rules. Oh, let's go through the stats first. 3 action points. I think that's pretty standard for a boss. 3 armor, power 5 weapon, and range 1. So she's got a melee weapon, and it's a huge like pickaxe type thing. And that's power 5. It's really powerful. Right. So again, she's a master. She can spend 1 action to make a thrall spend an action, but there are no thralls today, so ignore that. Cannibal. Every member of her gang. I'm gonna sneeze. Every member of her gang gets the Cannibal special rule. Spend 1 action to attack a unit within 1 inch. So it's do a melee attack basically. If successful, remove spooked or crippled. So if, for example, she does, she punches someone or gets someone with the pickaxe successfully, yeah, then she grabs a pound of flesh, scoffs it down, and heals herself. Very thematic. Next one, slab-sided. Anyone obscured by this unit is considered to be in hard cover. I think that's got something to do with the big shield that she's got. And she's also a bruiser. Target is crippled instead of spooked. That's pretty serious. Yeah, so it's the target has a very high chance of being crippled or whatever. So awesome. Next up is Octo. 2 action points, 2 armor points, power 3, and range 8. So nothing so special there. However, he does get a free attack with every move. He's also got grenades, so he spends 1 action, and he does a power 4 range 10 attack, so that's more powerful than his standard weapon. And that weapon also has the boom special effects, which means all figures within 1 inch of the target are also hit and roll on the chart. I assume if they're hit, they also roll on the injury chart. I will check the rule for that. Anyway, and that the grenades also have the Ripper special rule, so that's +2 on the injury chart. So kind of like the nail bomb or the junk mine. Also, he gets 2 attacks per action, so he's actually pretty cool. His stats aren't that great, but he has grenades and a lot of special skills. So nice one, Octo. Next, bring out the Gimp. Goliath. No, before we go through the rules, let's go through the stats. I was distracted by the chainsword. Right, 2 action points, standard. Armor 4. I'm not sure where that comes from. Power 4, chainsword, and range 1, so melee again. These guys are pretty much melee apart from Octo, who had gun. So Goliath, which means he ignores successful attacks on a roll of 7+. So attacker rolls a hit, okay, that's great. This guy, the Gimp, he rolls a d10, and if it's a 7-up, then he ignores it. A little bit like an invulnerability save or whatever they have in that other game that I don't really like very much. Cannibal. I mentioned that before. So basically spend an action to do a melee attack, and if successful, remove a spooked or crippled. So, no, chunking down flesh, yeah, as you do. Next. Right, this guy's got a flamer. This is Barbecue, or BBQ, as he likes to be called by his friends. 2 action points, 2 armor points, power 3. Range, there's a little dash there, and I will explain why. I will tell you what that all means. So, of course, he's a cannibal, like everyone else in this one, so successful melee attack, remove spooked or crippled. He's also a trader, that was also mentioned before. He's a trader, roll a d10, spend an action within an inch of someone, roll a d10. 1 to 3, he draws a mad card. 4 to 6, he gets stims. 7 to 10, he gets grenades. Grenades are quite cool, as we've seen just now. And the last special rule is Projector, which is about his flamer weapon, and that's why there's no range indicated on the card. So basically, he draws a line from the weapon and rolls a d10, and that's how many inches he fires along that line, and every model on the line is affected, so rolls on the to hit chart basically. So yeah, roll d10, everything on that line in d10 inches gets affected. Right, really interesting. Next, Betty, Nurse Betty. AP 2, armor 2, power 2, and range 1. Yeah, a syringe. Has only got range 1. So let's have a look at her skills. What's she all about? Medic, of course. So spend 1 action if you're within 1 inch of another figure, and that removes spooked, crippled, or serious injury. Very handy. She just has to stay out of trouble. Cannibal, same as everyone else. Yeah, spend an action to do a melee. If successful, remove spooked or crippled. Yeah, so that is awesome. Betty, cool model as well. Yeah. Right, let's have a look at their mad cards. Right, we got Moo Juice, same as before. Select a single friendly figure. Remove the effects of crippled. This figure may now ignore any injury results of crippled for the remainder of the game. Next up is Splat. Place this card anywhere on the board. Any figure even partially covered by it is the target of a Power 7 attack with the Bruiser special effect. That is awesome. Just a huge Leviathan of a giant is, you know, striding through the Radlands, the Cursed Earth. And oh, he stepped on something. He's got something stuck to his foot. What is it? It's about 3 of your models. Pause. Next up, select a single enemy figure. This figure may only make move actions at half their normal speed until the end of this turn. So you could basically slow someone down for the turn. It's quite a tactical one, that one. Nice one. Next. So another crazy one. This is Mega Tornado. Select a single figure or combat unit, friend or foe, and instantly move them up to 10 inches in any direction. This may not take the figure or combat unit off the board. Yeah, so just plonk and put down within 10 inches any figure. Awesome, that's great. Next. Right, again, we've got irregular Joes. Select a single figure, friend or foe. They receive +1 AP action point this activation. Yeah. Right, that's it. Let's play.